Margaret Ritchie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I come to this debate this evening along with my two colleagues in the SDLP as pacifists, as people who strongly believe in nuclear disarmament and firmly believe that Trident and weapons of mass destruction are used to kill people in a very indiscriminate manner. And for that reason, we will be going into the no lobby tonight. What we are debating today is the UK's own role as a nuclear power. And in the last 6 years, in the time I've spent in this House, Mr. Speaker, I cannot recall having heard convincingly any minister explain why the UK's nuclear arsenal provides any deterrent not already provided by the much larger arsenals of the Allies. I have yet to hear any reason why nuclear weapons make Britain safer than non-armed states like Germany, Canada or Japan. There is no genuine security argument for the UK to spend these vast sums of money on weapons that can never be used. Because the elephant in the room today is about status and not about safety. The reason the government wants to renew these weapons is not because they make us safer, but because ministers are afraid without them the UK will further cease to be a world power. Yes, I give way.
I thank my honourable friend for giving way, and like her, I detect that this is about status. This is a vanity project, and actually the most thoughtful argument that we have heard for the investment in Trident is actually that its use would be unthinkable.
Could I thank my honourable friend, the member for Foyle, for his very helpful intervention. And in that respect, I remember going to a talk in this House some months ago given by the former Secretary of State for Defence, Lord Brown, who sits in the other place, who said it was no longer applicable because of issues to do with cyber security and detection. I have even heard it suggested that renewing Trident is necessary to protect the UK's place on the UN Security Council. But for a modern democracy, weapons of mass destruction are no way to hold our place in the world. In truth, the calls to hold on to these weapons betray an insecurity that actually weakens the UK's standing in the world. How can the UK call on other countries to commit to non-proliferation when it itself tries to hold on to influence through status symbol nuclear weapons? And this is not a harmless indulgence. Renewing Trident only adds to the tension between powers at a time when we should be trying to de-escalate conflict and bring understanding across the world. That is to say nothing of the danger Trident has brought to the North Channel and the Irish Sea, and particularly to those fishermen in my constituency who trawl in those waters. And as a representative of that constituency that is now facing some uncertainty as a result of the political decision that is likely to be taken here tonight, I understand the position of honourable members whose constituencies rely on the construction of those submarines for jobs and livelihood. But I would say to those honourable members that there are better ways of investing in growth for your communities that do not involve nuclear weapons. Common sense dictates that the UK will have to decommission one day. It may be this year or it may be 30 years from now, but the economic transition away from these submarines is inevitable as the decommissioning of the nuclear plants that has already taken place, but is likely to take longer than is projected. That is why I believe we must take that £179 billion Trident is set to cost over the next number of years and invest it in renewing peaceful, sustainable industry in the shipbuilding and port heartlands of our islands. That is how small nations make themselves indispensable on the world stage, not through threats or through weapons, but through long-sighted inward investment in skills and industry, through soft power and through commitment to peace and diplomacy. And that should be the objective of this government, because that is the objective of us on these benches. We want to see peace, we want to see harmony, but we want to see growth and development. And for those reasons, myself, Mr Speaker, and my two colleagues, the Honourable Member for Foyle and the Honourable Member for South Belfast, will be in the no lobbies tonight.